Lakers Celtics. This thing's been pure madness for over 70 years, and it's never cooled off. Way back, the Celtics were busy stacking titles like it was a hobby, while the Lakers just kept coming up short over and over. Boston snatched 11 rings in 13 seasons, and the Lakers had to sit there losing to them 6 different times. Then the 80s hit, and it turned wild. Magic and Bird basically dragged the whole league out of irrelevance, turning every matchup into a full-on event. Fast forward, Kobe and Boston's Big Three picked the fight right back up, giving everyone more drama. The Lakers finally got their payback in 2010 just to keep things spicy. Now, it's still nasty. Tatum, LeBron, and even Luka are keeping this fire alive. But the Celtics do have 18 rings, while the Lakers are stuck at 17. LeBron Curry. These two have been going at it forever, and people act like it's some friendly little duel, but no, it's been pure chaos. LeBron was hyping up Curry back in the Davidson days like they were best friends, texting him before games, but the second Curry's Warriors got good, that whole friendship vibe disappeared fast. The finals from 2015 to 2018 were just a straight-up war. LeBron dragged the Cavs to that insane comeback in 2016, and everyone treated it like the biggest thing ever. Then Durant crashed the party, and Curry's Warriors basically ran the table for the next 2 years. Even after Cleveland, it stayed personal. LeBron's Lakers smacked Curry's Warriors in the 2023 playoffs, and people acted like it settled something, but it didn't. Off the court, they're pretending it's all love, but they both know it's never been friendly. Shaq Kobe. This rivalry was pure chaos from the start, and honestly, it never let up. Shaq rolled into the Lakers already larger than life, and Kobe showed up straight from high school, acting like he owned the place. Right away, they were clashing. Shaq thought Kobe was selfish, and Kobe thought Shaq was lazy. Even when they were winning titles, it was a mess. They grabbed 3 straight championships, but they could barely stand each other. Shaq skipped workout. Kobe trained like a maniac, and every win felt like it barely held them together. By 2004, it exploded. Shaq got shipped to Miami, and the shots kept flying. Shaq won first and mocked Kobe in raps. Then Kobe fired back by stacking rings of his own. Eventually, they patched it up, but let's be real. This rivalry carried the Lakers and gave the league non-stop drama for years. Magic Bird. These two basically saved basketball from falling into total irrelevance, and they did it by flat out hating each other on the court. It all kicked off in college, when Magic's squad ruined Bird's perfect season in the title game, and Bird acted like Magic didn't even exist afterward. Then they both hit the league, and everything exploded. Magic landed in flashy Los Angeles, Bird in gritty Boston, and the whole thing turned into East Coast versus West Coast with non-stop tension. Their finals matchups were brutal, with Boston stealing one in '84, but the Lakers came back to take 2 out of 3. These guys checked each other's stats every morning like it was a full-time job. Even when they finally became friends, you could tell that fire never died. Between them, they won 8 titles and made the league must-watch every single night. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Rondo, Chris Paul. These two have hated each other's guts for what feels like forever, and it all started with Rondo getting iced out of the 2008 Olympics, while CP3 got the nod. Rondo never let it go, and by 2009, he was throwing it in Paul's face, telling him straight up he had a ring and Paul never would. Things boiled over fast, with Paul nearly storming into Boston's locker room looking for a fight. But the real explosion came in 2018 with the full-blown brawl. Rondo supposedly spat at Paul, punched him clean in the face, and the whole league went nuts. Players were picking sides, like it was a playground fight. Even after the dust settled, Rondo kept running his mouth, calling Paul a horrible teammate. And yeah, they've pretended to cool it since, but make no mistake, that beef never really died. Knicks Celtics. This rivalry's been dragging on forever, and honestly, it's a little brutal how one-sided it's been. The Celtics have basically owned the Knicks, stacking win after win, while New York fans keep pretending it's close. Boston leads the whole thing by over 100 games, and it's not getting any prettier. Back in the 70s, the Knicks had their little moment, knocking off Boston in the conference finals and even grabbing a title in '73. But since then, Boston's just run circles around them. The Celtics even swept the Knicks in 2011, like it was nothing. Even lately, Boston's been bullying them, winning 3 straight blowouts in 2025. Fans love hyping up the whole Garden versus Garden thing, but honestly, it's been Boston's party for years. No matter how much the Knicks talk about pride, Boston keeps shutting them down every time. LeBron Durant. This matchup has been ridiculous from the start, and it's only gotten messier over the years. Early on, LeBron was just bullying Durant every chance he got, stacking wins like it was easy work. Durant could score, but it never mattered because LeBron kept walking away with the wins. Then Durant pulled the ultimate move, ditched OKC, and hopped on the Warriors' juggernaut. Suddenly, the whole thing flipped. Durant started torching LeBron in the finals, grabbing back-to-back rings, and finals MVPs, while LeBron had to watch it happen. After that, injuries kept them off the court, and fans got robbed of some serious battles. When they finally faced off again in 2023, it felt like catching the last few rounds of a heavyweight fight. No matter how much respect they throw at each other, these two have always been locked in a straight-up power struggle. Wilt Russell. This rivalry was straight-up legendary. And honestly, it felt like Wilt spent his whole career chasing Russell and never quite catching him. Wilt would drop absurd numbers, pulling down 55 rebounds in a game, or dropping 30 points like it was light work. But Russell's teams just kept winning. They met almost 100 times in the regular season. And even though Wilt put up video game stats, Russell always seemed to have the upper hand. Playoffs? Same story. Russell's teams took 7 out of 8 series, like they had Wilt's number on speed dial. Even when Wilt finally got his first ring in '67, it felt overdue. Then Wilt moved to the Lakers, thinking it'd change everything. But Russell still blocked his path one last time. They didn't even speak for 20 years after, because yeah, it was personal. This rivalry never let up. Chris Paul, Scott Foster. This has to be one of the pettiest, most ridiculous beefs in the league, and it's been dragging on forever. It kicked off in 2008 when Foster worked Paul's Game 7 loss, and it's been downhill ever since. Even when Paul managed a rare playoff win with Foster reffing, it barely mattered because the losses kept stacking. Foster even honked at Paul while he was with his kid, like this was some street feud. They had a meeting to squash it, but obviously, that didn't work. Foster kept hitting Paul with texts, delays of game, you name it. Paul fired back, calling Foster out every chance he got, saying the whole thing was personal. Even after snapping a brutal losing streak in 2023, Paul still could not let it go. No matter what, this beef refuses to die. Shaq Dwight. This one's been petty from the jump, and it's never really cooled off. Dwight got drafted by Orlando, same as Shaq, and instead of just playing it cool, he went full copycat, throwing on the Superman cape at the dunk contest like he owned it. Shaq saw that and instantly took it personal, like Dwight had stolen his identity. Then Shaq kept the shots coming, calling other centers better than Dwight just to stir the pot. Dwight tried to brush it off, but Shaq kept poking, even posting a ridiculous dunk meme like this was middle school. When Dwight took his game overseas to Taiwan, Shaq clowning him got even louder, calling it a glorified pickup league. Dwight fired back, saying Shaq's just salty. By 2025, Dwight even joked about fighting him, but Shaq waved it off like he was too busy for the drama. Pistons, Pacers. This rivalry's been nasty forever, and it just keeps finding new ways to explode. It started back in 1990 when the Pistons smacked the Pacers out of the playoffs on their way to a second straight title. Things simmered until 2004 when they clashed in the conference final, and the Pistons took them down again before winning it all. But the real chaos hit with the malice at the Palace. A drink got tossed, Ron Artest lost it, and players were throwing punches at fans like it was a street fight. Suspensions flew, and the league freaked out with new rules overnight. Even after that, they kept the tension alive. In 2025, things got heated again with scuffles and ejections, including Isaiah Stewart getting tossed for a wild shove. No matter how much time passes, these two teams never seem to cool off. Jokic and Embiid. This rivalry's disappointing. They faced off 8 times, and Embiid's squads have taken 6 of those wins, leaving Jokic playing catch-up. Embiid's been going off in these games, dropping 47 points in one, then following it with 41 and 10 assists, like it's routine. Meanwhile, Jokic still puts up solid numbers, but Embiid's got that extra fire in these matchups. But half the time, Embiid doesn't even play. Even with all the regular season drama, they've never met in the playoff, which kind of leaves everyone waiting for the real showdown. Jokic is flexing with 3 MVPs in a championship, but Embiid's still right there with an MVP and scoring title. Whenever these two step on the floor, it's a battle of style, and neither one's backing down anytime soon. When it even happens in the first place though, Luka Booker. This rivalry's been pure entertainment, and honestly, it just keeps getting spicier. It all started with Luka's rookie debut, where Booker dropped 35 points and made sure Luka's first game felt like a welcome party from hell. But Luka bounced back quick, torching Phoenix for 42 points the next time they met. The real fireworks hit in the 2022 playoffs, when Luka's Mavs smacked the Suns in 7, including that humiliating blowout in Game 7. Ever since, it's been personal. They've had face-to-face stare-downs, trash talk, and plenty of games where they straight up went at each other. Luka went nuclear on Christmas, dropping 50, while Booker fired back with a career-high 46 not long after. No matter the game, it feels like these two are constantly trying to one-up each other, and neither's backing down for a second. Lakers Nuggets. This rivalry's been heating up fast, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Sure, the Lakers owned Denver for years, running up the playoff wins like it was automatic, but lately, the Nuggets have flipped the whole script. In the 2024 playoff, Denver embarrassed the Lakers in 5 games, with Jamal Murray hitting dagger shots and Jokic playing like he was built in a lab. Even during the regular season, they traded punches, splitting the series 2-2, but it felt like Denver had the upper hand when it counted. Luka, landing in Los Angeles, has made things even more chaotic, dropping 31 points in a big win and keeping the Lakers alive in the race. Still, Jokic keeps torching them, carrying Denver while they fight for the top spot. Every game between these two feels like a heavyweight bout right now. Kings-Warriors, these teams share the same backyard, so every game turns into a loud, hostile mess, with fans flooding each other's arenas. The Kings lit things up early in the 2025 season, smacking the Warriors by 30 and chanting "Light the beam" right in their faces. But the Warriors fired back hard, taking the next two games with big wins of their own. Last year's playoff series is still burning in everybody's memory, where Curry casually dropped 50 in Game 7, basically telling Sacramento to go home. Even with the regular season split this year, every matchup feels like a street fight. Both teams are scrapping for playoff spots, and neither's backing down. No matter what, Kings-Warriors games always feel like they've got extra weight to them. Duncan Shaq. This rivalry was straight up heavyweight mayhem, and every time they clashed, it felt like the league shook a little. Duncan brought the smooth, steady game, while Shaq just bulldozed through people like they were folding chairs. They went head-to-head over 60 times, and it was as even as it gets. Split playoff wins, tight battles, and zero love lost. Duncan's Spurs smoked Shaq's Lakers in '99, sweeping them clean, but Shaq fired back hard, flipping the script with 3 straight playoff series wins. And let's not forget that wild 2004 showdown, where Duncan thought he hit the dagger, only for Derek Fisher to bury him with that ridiculous buzzer beater. Career-wise, Duncan stacked more titles, but Shaq always made sure to leave dents in his path. Every game between them felt like a war in the paint, and neither ever backed down. Lakers, Clippers. This so-called rivalry's been one-sided forever, but lately, it's actually felt like a real fight. For years, the Lakers treated the Clippers like background noise while stacking banners. But the Clippers finally started swinging back. They had their little run, beating the Lakers 11 times straight, until LeBron and Luka decided enough was enough. In 2024, the Lakers snapped that streak in overtime, and it flipped everything. Luka's been a menace since landing in Los Angeles, dropping 31 and 29 points to keep the Lakers in control. Meanwhile, Kawhi's tried to carry the Clippers, putting up big numbers, but it has not been enough. The Lakers took 3 out of 4 games this season, flexing hard in the hallway rivalry. But right now, it feels like the Lakers have the keys, and they're not giving them back. Kobe Dwight. This whole thing was rocky from the start, and honestly, it never really got smooth. Way back in Dwight's rookie year, Kobe baptized him with a vicious one-handed dunk, like a personal welcome to the league. From there, it only got more complicated. When Dwight joined the Lakers in 2012, people thought it was going to be a dream team, but it turned into a mess real quick. Kobe pushed Dwight like he was in boot camp, but Dwight was way too laid back for that energy. They barely clicked, and after a rough season, Dwight bailed for Houston like he could not get out fast enough. The tension didn't stop there. Next season, they got into it again, with Kobe straight up calling Dwight soft on the court. Years later, Dwight admitted he mishandled it, but deep down, you know that fire between them never fully burned out. Jordan Barkley. This one's wild because it started like a bromance and crashed into a full-on Cold War. Both got drafted in '84, hit the league as instant stars, and somehow managed to stay tight even while going at each other on the court. They even teamed up on the Dream Team, played golf together like old pals. And yes, sometimes they did that in the middle of playoff series, because why not? But when it came to head-to-head, Jordan owned Barkley like it was his side quest. Regular season, playoffs, it didn't matter. Jordan's teams took most of the wins while dropping buckets for fun. In the '93 finals, Barkley won MVP, but Jordan dropped 41 a game just to make sure Chuck stayed ringless. Later, Barkley criticized Jordan's front office mess, and Jordan iced him out completely. Friends turned rivals. Harden Giannis. This rivalry's been pure entertainment, mostly because neither of them could resist throwing jabs when things got heated. It really blew up during the 2019 MVP race, when Giannis snagged the award while Harden was out here dropping over 34 points a night and claiming politics robbed him. Then Giannis went full petty at the 2020 All-Star Draft, saying he skipped Harden because he wanted someone who'd actually pass the ball. Harden naturally didn't let that slide, firing back with the infamous line about how being 7 feet and just dunking takes no skill at all. On the court, it's been dead even, with both their teams splitting wins in both the regular season and playoff. Even though the beef cooled off, that back and forth still sticks in people's heads. No matter how they spin it, these two left their mark on each other's legacy. Draymond Gobert. This rivalry's been straight up ridiculous, and Draymond keeps pouring gas on the fire every chance he gets. Head-to-head, Green's teams have owned Gobert's, especially in the playoffs where it's been a clean sweep. But things really exploded in 2023 when Gobert tried to play peacemaker during a scuffle, and Draymond locked him in a headlock like it was a wrestling match. Green got tossed, Gobert called it clown behavior, and the league handed Draymond a 5-game suspension. Did that cool it down? Not even close. Draymond kept chirping, mocking Gobert for getting benched during the Olympics and throwing shade from the inside the NBA desk, like it was his side gig. Gobert fired back, but honestly, Draymond lives for this kind of chaos. Every time they face off, it's like watching two guys who cannot stand breathing the same arena air. Knicks Pacers. This rivalry's been pure hostility for decades, and it never takes a night off. Back in the 90s, it was straight up warfare, with the Pacers and Knicks throwing haymakers every spring. Reggie Miller absolutely loved ripping the hearts out of Knicks fans, and that wild 8 points in 9 seconds still haunts Madison Square Garden like a bad ghost story. Knicks fans got their revenge too, like Larry Johnson's miracle 4-point play in '99 that flipped an entire series on its head. Lately, the Pacers have had the upper hand, knocking the Knicks out in 7 tough games in 2024. But the Knicks punched back this season, taking 2 out of 3 in the regular season, with Karl-Anthony Towns lighting them up for 40. Every time these two meet, it feels like the past crashes straight into the present, and the hate just keeps flowing. Dirk Wade. This rivalry had everything: bitterness, revenge, and a heavy dose of drama. It kicked off in the 2006 finals, where Wade basically torched Dirk's Mavericks and snatched the trophy while Dallas melted down. Wade averaged almost 35 points a game, and Dirk had to sit there and watch it happen. Fast forward to 2011, and Dirk got his payback in brutal fashion. He led the Mavs to a 4-2 win over Miami, with Wade and LeBron mocking Dirk's illness mid-series like it was middle school antics. Dirk called it childish, then went out and took the title anyway. Head-to-head, they stayed pretty even, but the finals battles defined them. Years later, they buried the beef and admitted the respect was always there. But make no mistake, when it mattered, this rivalry brought out the absolute fire in both of them. Magic Isaiah. This story's been one of the wildest rides in NBA history. Friends turned rivals, turned strangers, and somehow they found their way back. Early on, Magic and Isaiah were basically brothers, hanging out off the court and even sharing pre-game kisses like it was all love. But then the finals hit. In '88, Magic's Lakers barely escaped the Pistons in 7 games, and the next year, Isaiah flipped the script and swept Los Angeles clean. Things got messy fast. After Magic's HIV announcement in '91, he believed Isaiah was spreading rumors, and their friendship completely cracked. The Dream Team snub made it worse, with Magic admitting he helped keep Isaiah off the squad. For years, they barely spoke. But in 2017, they finally sat down face to face, aired it out, and made peace. Decades of tension ended with one emotional hug on live TV. Nuggets Timberwolves. This rivalry's been heating up fast, and honestly, it's gotten way too personal to ignore. The Timberwolves flat out owned the Nuggets this season, sweeping them 4-0 like they were on a mission. Even in the wild double overtime game, Jokic dropped a ridiculous 61-point triple-double, and they still lost by a single point. Anthony Edwards came through with 34 points and just kept making big plays. Playoff history between these two is tight, and in 2024, the Timberwolves flipped the script. They stormed back from 20 points down in Game 7, bounced the defending champs, and punched their ticket to the conference finals for the first time in 20 years. Both teams have been stacking moves just to outdo each other, and every matchup feels like it's dragging them deeper into this scrap. Right now, it's pure bad blood every time. Shaq Yao. This matchup was pure spectacle. 2 giants going at it, with every fan glued to their screens just to see who'd win the clash of style. Shaq came in like a wrecking ball. Pure power, no apologies. Yao brought size and finesse, and right away in their first game, he sent a message by swatting Shaq's first 3 shots like it was nothing. Sure, Shaq still finished with 31 points that night, but Yao wasn't backing down. Their battles stayed tight in the regular season, splitting wins nearly down the middle. Playoffs, Shaq flexed hard, taking the series 4-1 in 2004, but Yao still made him work for every bucket. Stat-wise, Shaq scored more. Yao out-rebounded him, and both blocked shots like their reputations depended on it. In the end, even Shaq admitted Yao earned his respect, and honestly, he had no choice. Dr. J. Bird. This thing was pure hostility, wrapped in old-school basketball. Bird and Dr. J didn't just compete, they straight up went at each other, like it was a matter of personal survival. Their head-to-head record could not have been tighter, dead even in both the regular season and playoffs. But Bird had the edge on the boards, and with his playmaking, always stuffing the box score like he was in a rush. Now, the fight? Oh yeah, they actually scrapped in 84 at the Boston Garden. No soft shove and walk away. This was full-on fists flying. Both of them getting ejected while the crowd lost its mind. And somehow, they turned all that tension into a video game called One-on-One, where fans could live out the rivalry themselves. Between the real punches and the pixelated ones, this was one of the fiercest matchups the league's ever had. LeBron Pierce. This one was pure tension from the jump. No handshakes, no soft moments, just bad blood disguised as basketball. Their head-to-head, it's about as close as you'll ever see, with LeBron barely edging Pierce by one win overall. But numbers tell a louder story. LeBron flat out owned the stat sheet every time they squared up, torching Pierce with nearly 30 points a game. Things started getting spicy all the way back in 2004 with a little preseason scuffle, and it never cooled down. In 2008, they threw haymakers in a Game 7 shootout, Pierce dropping 41, LeBron answering with 44. But Pierce's Celtics took the series. 2 years later, Pierce and the Celtics ended LeBron's Cleveland run, basically shoving him to Miami. But in 2012, LeBron came back for revenge, nuking Boston with 45 points and breaking the Celtics for good. Ewing Hakeem, these two went at it like it was a personal grudge that lasted decades. It all started in college, with Ewing throwing his weight around at Georgetown and Hakeem figuring things out at Houston, still looking like a soccer player trapped in a basketball game. When they first squared off, Ewing's physicality shut Houston down, and when they met in the championship, Ewing took the crown, while Hakeem had to admit he got out-muscled. Fast forward to the NBA, and they kept the tension alive. Drafted 1 year apart, both were supposed to save their franchises, and they didn't disappoint. Hakeem had that ridiculous footwork and timing, while Ewing just bullied people in the paint. They split most of their battles, but Hakeem always had that slight upper hand. When it all came to a head in the '94 finals, Hakeem closed it out, proving once and for all who ran the show. Jordan, Isaiah. These two genuinely could not stand each other, and it showed from the start. Back in the '85 All-Star game, Thomas made sure Jordan barely touched the ball, like the league needed reminding who ran the East. Thomas kept denying it, but way too many players confirmed the freeze out. Add in the fact that Thomas, a Chicago native, had to watch Jordan take over his city, and the tension was set. In the playoffs, the Pistons bullied the Bulls for 3 straight years, using every cheap shot in the book. Thomas ran the show, and the Pistons owned the rivalry early. But once '91 hit, the Bulls flipped the script and swept Detroit clean out of the playoff. Thomas led that infamous walk-off, ducking handshakes like it would give him the flu. Then came the Dream Team drama, with Thomas left off and Jordan conveniently silent. Duncan Dirk. These two battled like it was their full-time job for nearly 2 decades. Duncan came in first, already looking like a grown man handling business in San Antonio, while Dirk rolled into Dallas a year later, still figuring out how not to fall over every other possession. Head-to-head, Duncan got the better of it, winning over 50 games against Dirk, but Dirk never backed down. Duncan had the rebounding, shot blocking, and all that grimy defense work locked down, while Dirk just kept dropping buckets with that impossible fadeaway. Their playoff matchups were nasty, with Duncan usually controlling the paint, but Dirk stole the show in 2006, carrying Dallas past San Antonio in a brutal 7-game series. Even as they aged, they kept trading blows, refusing to fade quietly. Duncan's 5 rings gave him the edge, but Dirk's relentless scoring kept the rivalry alive. Suns Spurs. The Spurs always had the upper hand, winning over 100 games in 5 of 8 playoff series, but the Suns never quit chasing them down. In 2005, Duncan and Manu led the charge. Then came 2007, and the Suns were robbed by suspensions after that chaos with Horry's hip check on Nash. The Spurs took full advantage, like they always did. Even in 2008, Duncan casually hit a 3 he had no business making. But in 2010, the Suns finally flipped the script and swept San Antonio clean off the court. It was fast-paced firepower against methodical execution. Nash flying down the floor while Duncan kept things grounded. No matter the season, this rivalry never cooled off. Frazier West. West was already torching the league by the time Frazier showed up, dropping close to 30 points a game like it was casual. Early on, West's Lakers took most of the wins, but Frazier caught up fast. When they met in the finals, Frazier's Knicks won 2 out of 3 series, including that legendary Game 7, where Frazier exploded for 36 points and 19 assists, basically doing everything. West could still score from anywhere, but Frazier's defense was a nightmare. Even when West finally got his ring in '72, it was Chamberlain carrying the load. While Frazier actually outplayed West in that series, their rivalry balanced raw scoring against smothering defense, with Frazier holding the edge when it mattered most in the playoffs. Bird Isaiah. These two went at it like it was personal, and honestly, it kind of was. Bird's Celtics owned the early part of the rivalry, winning way more games, but Thomas never made it easy. Even when the Celtics were rolling, Thomas kept pushing, dishing out assists like it was second nature. The playoff battles were brutal, especially in '87 when Bird stole that inbound pass and flipped the entire series. Thomas had to live with that one for a while. By '88 though, the Pistons finally broke through, sending Boston packing and starting their own run at the top. Off the court, things got heated too, with Thomas and Rodman making wild claims about Bird's hype. Bird just brushed it off, not giving it any oxygen. Over time, the respect grew, but they never lost that sharp edge every time they faced off. Lakers Kings. This one's got everything: drama, bitterness, and just enough delusion to keep it alive. The Lakers owned this thing for decades, racking up over 300 wins, while the Kings spent most of their time just trying to stay relevant. Back in the early days, the Lakers smacked the Royals around, grabbed titles, and left Sacramento's future looking grim before it even started. Then came the early 2000s, when the Kings finally got bold. Webber, Bibby, and Divac turned the Kings into a real threat, pushing the Lakers to 7 brutal games in 2002. Of course, that series is still a sore spot in Sacramento, thanks to some, let's say, creative officiating. Since then, the Lakers grabbed more rings, while the Kings fell apart. Lately though, the Kings flipped the script, winning 10 of 13 since 2022, but they still need playoff payback. Jordan Magic. These two legends clashed 18 times, and Jordan came out on top with the 11 wins to Magic's 7. Their battles were pure fire, with Jordan averaging over 30 points a game against Magic's 19. I mean, Jordan's defense was no joke, snagging 2 steals a game, while Magic dished out nearly 12 assists like it was nothing. The 1991 finals? That's when Jordan snatched his first ring, taking down Magic's Lakers 4-1, a torch-passing moment. Off the court, things got spicy too, especially during the 1992 Dream Team practices, where Jordan's crew smoked Magic's squad, and Magic wasn't happy about it. They even trash-talked over titles, with Jordan shutting down Magic's 5-ring flex. Man, their rivalry flipped the NBA from Magic's team vibe to Jordan's solo superstar reign. Spurs Mavs. This Texas rivalry's been a roller coaster of dominance, heartbreak, and pure basketball drama. The Spurs hold the all-time edge, winning 119 regular season games to the Mavs 92, plus a 4-2 playoff series lead. But don't let that fool you, this feud's had its moments. The 2006 Western Conference semifinals was legendary. Dirk Nowitzki dropped 37 points in Game 7, outdueling Tim Duncan's 41 to send the Mavs to the finals. Duncan got the last laugh though, with 5 rings to Dirk's 1. Fast forward to now, and it was Luka versus Victor Wembanyama before the trade. Luka's owned the recent matchups, putting up 34 points in January, but Wemby's starting to bite back with 25 points in their November win. The Spurs built their legacy on defense and teamwork, while the Mavs rode Dirk's scoring and then Luka's magic. It's a clash of styles, pride, and pure Texas basketball. And with Davis versus Wemby, it's only getting hotter. Knicks Bulls. This rivalry's been pure chaos since the 80s, with the Bulls owning the Knicks when it mattered most. Chicago leads the all-time series 165-139, including a brutal 6-1 playoff record against New York. Jordan absolutely torched them, averaging 31.5 points, while Ewing fought back but never got past him when it counted. The '93 Eastern Conference Finals summed it up. Jordan dropped 54 in Game 4, then ended the Knicks season in 6. The one time New York won, '94, when Jordan was playing baseball. Even then, it took a sketchy foul call in a Game 7 grind. Fast forward to now, and it's Jalen Brunson versus Josh Giddey. Brunson's been cooking lately, dropping 35 in a December blowout. The Knicks are up 11-6 since 2021, but let's be real, until they meet in the playoffs, Jordan's shadow still looms over this thing. Shaq Robinson. This rivalry was pure dominance versus discipline. Shaq's brute force against Robinson's polished two-way game. They faced off 64 times, with Shaq holding a slight 33-31 edge, but Robinson won 2 of their 3 playoff series. Shaq averaged 25.8 points and 11.8 rebounds, bullying his way to the rim, while Robinson countered with 19.7 points and 2.8 blocks, using his agility to frustrate the Diesel. The '96 All-Star Game summed it up. Shaq posterized Robinson on national TV, then claimed he was the most dominant ever, while Robinson just shrugged and kept locking guys up. Shaq won 4 rings to Robinson's 2, but the Admiral got the last laugh in 2003, retiring as a champ after helping dismantle Shaq's Lakers. Their beef? Mostly fake. Shaq admitted he made up the rivalry to hype himself up, calling Robinson too nice to hate. Still, when these two clashed, it was must-watch basketball. A battle of eras, styles, and egos. Shaq's power won stats, but Robinson's Spurs won when it mattered. Westbrook Durant. What started as an OKC bromance turned into one of the messiest breakups in NBA history. Durant leads the head-to-head 24-13 since leaving Westbrook in 2016, including a brutal 4-game sweep in the 2017 playoff, where Russ averaged 37 points on 39% shooting, while KD casually dropped 25 on 50%. The tension was nuclear. Remember when Westbrook called Durant a cupcake after torching him for 47 points? Or when Durant said he didn't talk to him anymore while winning back-to-back titles? Westbrook got his MVP in 2017 as revenge, but KD got the last laugh with rings. Even now, with Westbrook bouncing between teams and Durant still dropping 30 whenever they meet, it's clear who won the divorce. Westbrook's triple-doubles were iconic, but Durant's efficiency and trophies make this rivalry painfully one-sided. The ultimate what if remains: if KD never left, could they have won together? Instead, we got years of petty jabs and awkward handshakes. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.